Hey guys, welcome back to Pixel Cherry Ninja's channel. In this video, we're going to have a look at the new 8bitDo Neo Geo controller. Now, this is coming from the viewpoint of someone that's never actually held this controller or never actually played a Neo Geo CD. The first time I think I actually played anything on a Neo Geo CD was on the MiSTer, when the MiSTer Core, well, which is still work in progress, but it's very, very good. It's very, very enjoyable. Now, the closest experience I've had to this is actually the Neo Geo Pocket, but I wasn't a fan of the stick, especially for fighting games. But a friend of the channel, Video Game Esoterica, he recommended this controller. He speaks very highly of it, so I thought, you know what, I'll grab one of these. And in this video, I'm going to be trying this out. Well, for the PC, I'm going to be trying out for the MiSTer, the Analogue Pocket, and hopefully the Switch. So let's see what we can do with this. But let's have a look what comes inside the box. Okay, once I finally actually managed to open up the box, you can see the controller's in a nice little packet. But let's move that aside. You've got an instruction manual in many different languages. You've got a USB-C to a USB-A cable. Not quite sure why that's included in there. I guess there's a reason. You've got the RF, the 2.4 gigahertz dongle. That's the main thing I'm going to be using. That's the main thing that attracted me to this controller. You've also got a USB type C cable down there that you can see, and hopefully I'll grab that in a second. I probably won't even use it. I've got so many of those things, but that's a USB A to USB C as we can see this. I'm not quite sure why we've got the C to C, but I don't know. Maybe you're going to use it in a device that has a USB-C and you're going to plug it into the controller, but I guess it's nice to have anyway. I don't know what I'm going to use it for personally, but I do like the dongle. Maybe I can use that for something else. And finally, the actual controller itself. I guess we saved the best for last. And guys, as soon as I held the controller, it feels of premium quality. It feels good. It feels good. It looks good all around. It's got a slight reflective kind of thing to it, and it's decent. I like the fact that at the back you've got a switch to swap between Bluetooth and 2.4 rather than doing it through button inputs that you end up forgetting. So that's very handy. But overall, at least looking at it and getting a feel for it, it does feel good. But now let's have a look at that. Well, let's have a listen to the sounds as well. So I'm going to put the sound there. I'm going to rotate the little nub, the D-pad, the little stick thing around and press the buttons just to kind of give you an idea of the sound this thing makes. Guys, here's something I don't do too often. I'm just going to go quiet so you guys can hear the click sounds or what the stick and the buttons sound like. Okay, there you go, guys. I hope that gave you a good indication as to what it sounds like. The clicky might be off-putting to some. I didn't find it distracting or anything. If were you doing it without playing a game, you might hear it. Once you're actually playing a game and you've got a little bit of sound gain, you don't feel those clicks, or at least I don't. But you know, if you're prone to sounds and you're used to playing in quiet environments, then this might be something that would bug you. So just consider this before you make the purchase, I suppose. Okay, let's start with the MiSTer. So I wanted to play a kind of shmup, and I loaded up R-Type. I played it. I didn't update the controller. I didn't update the dongle. I just plugged it straight in. We'll have a look at the update later because 8bitDo do have an updater app that you can, well, update the devices from. But I just put this in the MiSTer. I wanted to try it out before making any changes. And just from the word go, you can put it in the MiSTer and you can play. And guys, I am new to this pad, but I had no issues with it. It was like a fish to water. Like I just got on with it. If any deaths that I had, I did not feel like it was the fault of the controller. First impressions, yeah, I like this controller. I like it a lot. It's accurate when you're playing stuff, when you're playing shmups and you're trying to navigate your way through bullets and everything. It just works. It works really well, and it works fantastically well on the MiSTer. As soon as I plugged it in, I could move up and down in the menu. Obviously, I configured it in the menu, then I configured it in the core, but absolutely zero issues. It feels good. The latency, whatever latency is there via the RF, it is so minimal. It's just as good as their other controllers, you know, like the M30, the PC Engine one, the Ultimate USB-C. These are all the RF ones that I'm using. So currently RF, it is working good on the MiSTer. And while on the MiSTer, guys, I wanted to try a fighting game. So, hey, man, why not King of Fighters 98? And again, like, I am new to this controller, but I had no issues pulling out my specials. I'm sure I'll get better if I was to play on this and get used to it. I might even like this better for fighting games than a conventional D-pad because I like to play my fighting games on a stick. Okay, so maybe this is the compromise between a stick and a pad, you know, based on the nub that we've got on this, but it was a lot of fun on here. You know, I tried doing Mi's quarter circle back, half circle forward move. It came out no issues. To do 2 fireballs, to do certain specials, it was okay, and it just felt good. It felt very, very natural playing this. Like I didn't think I'd like this controller as much as I did, and it works really, really well on the MiSTer. And all I can say is, if you want this for the MiSTer, it works superbly. Now, I'm not going to try Bluetooth on the MiSTer because the MiSTer doesn't natively have Bluetooth. I'll have to plug in a dongle, but we will next up try it wired now with another game. Okay, next up, guys, I wanted to try this wired. So this is wired on the MiSTer. I'm running the PC Engine core because, hey, I wanted to do a vertical shmup. And you know what? I really like Gunhead. This is known as Blazing Lasers on the TurboGrafx 16, but I had the PC Engine. That's what we had in the UK, and the power-ups in this game are just fantastic. But again, playing this, it just felt good. It felt natural. Any deaths that kind of occurred, it was because, hey, actually, I didn't actually die on this. I had to turn it off. I'm actually not bad at this game as far as you know, playing shmups goes. I'm probably better at this than other games, but it felt good. It felt responsive. I enjoyed myself when playing this game. And again, this controller works well wired, but that's not why we're getting it. We're getting it for either the RF or the Bluetooth. In my case, definitely the RF over Bluetooth, but it's nice to know that wired, it works on the MiSTer. It picks it straight up, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, like taking candy from a baby. It just works. So guys, the next few tests are going to be on the PC, and this is me using RetroArch. Now, the first one I did on RetroArch was just wired. I just plugged in a wire. Now remember, I haven't updated anything yet. I'm just using the firmware that came with a box. So I just plugged it in, and sure enough, it just picked it up straight away wired. Now, it's not fun to play 6-button games on this because I'm not a fan of shoulder buttons, but as you can see, I'm getting all my moves out. I'm getting my supers out. I'm kind of missing a couple of buttons, but I was able to do, you know, like basic free hit combos like jump in, crouching medium kick into fireball. Like, in fact, I think I would like to play with this controller a little more to see if I can kind of get decent with this, because I don't like playing fighting games on controllers, but this kind of felt okay. I definitely felt, for me personally, it was easier to execute moves on one player side compared to 2-player side, but that might just be me. But again, it just works. It works really, really well. Plugged it in, bang, it just plays. It plays, it works. My moves could come out. Like, I'm so far, I'm happy with the purchase. So let's see what else kind of comes out, and let's do like the Bluetooth, and let's do the RF mode on the PC as well. So when it came up to setting up Bluetooth on the PC, it was really, really easy. You know, sometimes you're trying to configure a controller, you can't find it properly, there's issues. It just picked up straight away, and it's named nicely as well, because I've got quite a few 8bitDo controllers, so it's nice that it's just named 8bitDo Neo Geo GP. So that's the only controller I've got of that type, and I picked it up straight away, and it was ready within a few seconds. And guys, this is an absolute gem of a fighter, Garou Mark of the Wolves, my favorite SNK fighting game, like just superb. Now, I played this, guys, I was able to do combos, I was able to do cancels. It just plays really, really well, and it definitely felt better playing an SNK game on this compared to the Capcom one. Now, don't get me wrong, Street Fighter was okay. Oh, and by the way, guys, this I played on Bluetooth, and there is a little bit of latency there. It is Bluetooth, but honestly, it's still okay via Bluetooth. Obviously, I would rather play via RF because I'll notice it on some games more than others. But if you're going to play it on Bluetooth, it's okay. But like, considering I'm new to this kind of controller, combos were just flowing out. It felt good. Now, when I did connect this with Bluetooth, RetroArch didn't pick it up straight away, so I had to go into input settings and just kind of configure the controller, tell RetroArch what I wanted each input to be. But once I've done it and I saved the configuration, it just worked. It worked flawlessly after that. And you know, if you do want to play via Bluetooth, it is definitely an option, and it works well. And like you see there, no issues doing specials or supers. So guys, if you're a regular on the channel, you know I try and feature this game every chance I get. I absolutely love Shadow Dance. I played it a lot in the arcade, and I really hope we get an FPGA call for this sometime in the future, which I think we will. It's kind of on the horizon, so hopefully we'll get one. I really can't wait for it. It's one of my most anticipated calls. But we're playing this on RetroArch on the PC via the 2.4 gigahertz RF adapter, and guys, it just works straight away. So on the PC, wired, RetroArch picked up straight away. Bluetooth, I had to configure it. RF, it just works straight out of the box. I plugged it in, it's just working, and it's working well. And the reason that I chose Shadow Dancer to test as well is because if I move it down and it's slightly off, he'll start crouching, and often with a bad controller, if I move it down and the controller's bad, I'll start walking either left or right. That's not the case on this. Like, the bottom corners are accurate, and I think that's important in a control pad, because sometimes I watch a video to see someone else's review and stuff, and one thing they don't talk about is diagonals in there, false diagonals, you know, or diagonals not coming out. On this one, it's accurate. I didn't get anything. Like, the controls just, they felt proper. So guys, I wanted to try this on the Analogue Pocket. So I wanted to try this on the Analogue Pocket and the Switch. So bear with me. I'm just going to kind of talk you through how I went about testing this. So first thing I did was I just tried to connect it via Bluetooth. So Bluetooth pairing button on, the pair button on the Neo Geo controller, the pair button on the Analogue Pocket dock. It just wasn't pairing. So I thought, okay, cool. Let me try it wired. Nope. Wired, nothing. So Bluetooth not pairing, wired, it would not pick it up. I tried doing button configs. I tried having a look at the manual to see if there's anything there. So Bluetooth, wired, absolutely not. Then I thought, okay, let's put in the 2.4 gigahertz dongle and let's see if it works. Nope, it did not work. So the next step I thought was, okay, now let me try and update the firmware using 8bitDo software that's available via their website. Okay, so here I am. So if you want to get this updating firmware software, it's available on 8bitDo's website. It's pretty straightforward to use now. There's a few options in here. Now, I had to play around because it kind of wasn't updating it at first. I was like, okay, what's going on? And then I kind of went back. I started having a look at the options, and then I went into like about firmware update, and it's got an option there for beta. Sorry, I did test that before, so in a video I'm a little bit quicker when I'm doing it. So I thought, let me give that a shot. And so I updated to the latest. So once I did that, when I go on the firmware, you're going to see that it's going to pick up a new beta firmware. And I thought, okay, cool. So maybe this is going to work. We're going from 1.0 to 1.09, and that's quite big. And then it just kind of talks you through how to do it. Take out the cable, press the button. So it's quite intuitive in the sense that it tells you how to do or how to prep to get your control updated. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to do an update here. This is going to be good. It's now going to work on the Analogue Pocket. It's now going to work on the Switch. You know, you're getting a firmware update. You're getting a beta firmware update. Surely something good is going to come out of this. And there you go. It's updating. It's a quick process once it gets started, and you're like, okay, happy days. So the next thing I wanted to do after updating this, I wanted to update the dongle. So took out the controller and I plugged in the 2.4 gigahertz RF dongle, because once you're updating stuff, hey, why not just update it all? And surely enough, guys, there's a new firmware also available from 1.04 to version 1.05, and that's it, done, updated. I'm happy. I'm thinking, okay, we're gonna have something now. And sure enough, I went back over to my Analogue Pocket, and I tried connecting it via Bluetooth. I tried connecting it wired, and then I tried connecting it via the 2.4 gigahertz RF dongle. Same result as before. Nothing is happening. I'm just stuck there with the screen and nothing's in it. That's not a biggie for me, because I'm happy using this just on the MiSTer, and I'm happy using it on the PC. But it would be nice to get it working on the Analogue Pocket. I really do hope a firmware update comes out in the future that at least lets you connect it via Bluetooth and wired, well, and RF as well. And it is very, very possible that we could get a firmware update that allows support. At least at the time of shooting this video, I could not get it to work. But let's have a look, because I then wanted to research it, and I came across Mad Little Pixels video, and that kind of sheds some light on how to get it working on the Analogue Pocket and the Switch. Okay, so while researching it to find out, okay, why can't we get this to work on the Analog Pocket? Because a lot of my 8bitDo controllers do work on the Analog Pocket. And obviously I wanted to find out about the Switch as well. So while searching on Google, a video come up by Mad Little Pixel, and he kind of goes on there where you need the dongle that you've got here. I've got a picture of it up here. So, oops, sorry, not this one, this dongle here. And this dongle pairs with the 8bitDo controller via Bluetooth. So you can't use the RF version. You can't use it wired as far as I know. You can only pair it with this dongle. Okay, cool. So I don't have this dongle. I have this dongle. So I tried pairing it with this dongle. So this is the 8bitDo Nintendo Switch USB wireless adapter. You can also use it on the PC. What it does, it pairs to one controller at a time. So you can pair it to whatever. I got this to actually use like a PlayStation 4 controller with the Switch. I thought, well, why buy another controller? I'm not using my PlayStation 4. And it works really well for that. It works well via Bluetooth. So I had this adapter. So I thought, okay, I've got this kicking about. So I went on, I updated the firmware. The last update firmware was like last year sometime. It didn't work. It would not let me pair it. But in Mad Little Pixel's video, he pairs it to the second version of this adapter, and it works. He pairs it with it, and it works on the Analog Pocket, and it also works on the Switch. Unfortunately, I don't have that, so I wasn't able to do that. So I'll leave a link to Mad Little Pixel's video in the description of the video. But that's how he got it working. Now, if you want to get this working on your Switch and your Analog Pocket, then that might be an investment worth making. I mean, the second one on Amazon UK at the moment is $13.07, which is quite a decent price because you can use this for a number of other things as well. Personally, I'm not going to buy it because I'm happy using it on the MiSTer. I've got quite a bunch of controllers, and hopefully there'll be a firmware update for the Analog Pocket and even the Nintendo Switch in the future. If not, like I said, if you want to get it, up and running now, this is something that you would need to purchase. So it's just down to you really. So Mad Little Pixel kind of goes through it. He gets it working on the Switch with that dongle, and then the same dongle he uses, and he gets it working on the Analog Pocket. So it does work, but it doesn't work straight out of the box. You do need to spend a little bit of extra money, but like I said, hopefully a firmware update will come out. And another thing I wanted to say was Video Game Esoterica has done an excellent review on this controller as well, including a teardown. So if you want to see the inside of this controller, he does a full teardown of it, and he gives his opinion. He tries out some games, and he's speaking from someone that's got a Neo Geo CD and has used the controller, and he actually recommended this controller to me. I wasn't buying it, but me and him speak quite a lot, and he said to me, look, it's his favorite controller. So I said, okay, I'll buy it, and I thought I'll do a review on it as well. But yeah, so kind of gutted a little bit about it can't work on the Switch and the Analog Pocket natively, but there is a workaround. It just involves spending a little bit more money. Okay guys, so in conclusion, is it worth you buying this controller? Well, yes, it's a great controller, great build quality. On what it works really well. Like for me, for the MiSTer and the PC, it works really well. So I've got enough value in that. Now, if you want it for the Analog Pocket or the Switch, then like I kind of pointed out in Mad Little Pixel's video, what he kind of brought to light was it will work on a particular dongle. It's a bit of a shame that it didn't work on my original dongle. I don't know why it wouldn't. It's just not received any firmware updates. Maybe if it will receive a firmware update in due time, I can get it to work with that dongle. Or ultimately, I hope this controller actually receives a firmware update so it can just work on the Analog Pocket without any extra attachments required. It just connects via Bluetooth. The RF works, the wired works, and also for the Nintendo Switch. I mean, I'm not too fussed about the Nintendo Switch, but the more compatibility this thing gets natively without using kind of extra steps or extra devices, then yeah, that's good. So hopefully a firmware update in the future for Analog Pocket and Switch support. But for now, if you're buying this for the MiSTer, guys, it's a great controller, and this is coming from someone that's never used this controller before. The first time I tried this controller, honestly, was the first time you're seeing it on screen. I might have gone through a menu or two, maybe booted up a game, but actual gameplay and everything is what you guys saw on screen. So it's a great controller, honestly. Very, very good controller. Glad I bought it. Glad VGE recommended it to me, because if it didn't, I probably would have skipped it. And I'm glad I was able to bring you this review. So guys, if you did enjoy the video, then a subscription and a like is super appreciated. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. I'll see you guys around. This is Pixel Cherry Ninja out.